So I'm at the UN Economic Commission of Europe's transboundary meeting of the parties, and my expectation for this event is on a couple of levels. One is that there's a community of people that work globally on water issues, and I feel like I'm a part of that community. I see many of the same faces. I get to meet new faces. One of the things that I think is really special about the convention, especially about this particular meeting, is that we're hearing people from across the world that are really engaging in the convention this year. And as the convention expands and breaks open, I get to hear people from Central Asia, I get to hear people from Africa, from Central and South America, even from countries that don't necessarily have transboundary problems, like Australia. They may have internal transboundary issues. So you hear stories about the issues about managing water across institutional and political borders that are really critical. And one of the things that I actually really appreciate is hearing the voices of the governments, the parties, as they begin to talk about what they expect us to see coming from the convention. And I find that to be really important. I'm a practical person. I'm someone that tends to work primarily in the field, with resource managers on the ground, with protected area managers, with ministries that are focused on managing natural resources in a sustainable way. And when I hear people at a high level in governments talk repeatedly about the threats that they face, the priorities that they place around managing over long time scales water resources in a sustainable way that can account for infrastructure development, for climate change, for a wide range of economic and demographic and environmental threats, I feel optimistic. Absolutely. I'm John Matthews. I'm with Conservation International, and we try to think, even though the first name in our organization is conservation, we really are a sustainable development organization. And I think conservation there, it means how is it that we make sure that we manage natural resources so that they last not just for a century but for millennia.
Yeah.
And water is really the kind of key driver in being able to do that. It's how we think about energy production, food and agriculture. It's how we think about sustaining cities, much less all the rural ancient livelihoods that have always been there for humans. So for us, making sure that we're representing the environment, that we're talking about that we have ecosystems really recognized as a kind of infrastructure that can be actively and sustainably managed is absolutely critical for us.
Fantastic.
Conservation International's engagement with the UNECE Convention has been relatively recent. It really dates from the past 2 years, 3 years. And we recognized that this convention is really focused on how you operationalize, how you actually do transboundary water management. That is a very active program and engaging in places. It's trying to bring different countries, different ministries within those countries, different major actors within those countries, outside of government as well, together. And we also recognized in the Secretariat in particular that they had a very clear vision that you had to think about transboundary water management in a very holistic way. That if you were simply focused on economic issues, or you were simply focused on big cities or major industries, that you actually were not going to result in effective water management. That they said, this is not transboundary management for a single agreement between an upstream and a downstream country. It's really about how is it that we manage these resources together forever. Conservation International, actually, we're excited about it breaking open, about it becoming a global convention and a global practical convention. And that's one of our main reasons for being here is to really reinforce that point. So we're hoping that actually in the work programs, the kind of daily practice of most of the Secretariat and most of the active participants in the Convention, we can engage on that process. In fact, we really would like to contribute. So we would like to involve our program in the Pantanal, the largest wetland in the world in South America, and an amazing transboundary wetland, and also in the Mekong, which is arguably one of the most geopolitically critical and important basins in the world, one of the very fastest developing, one of the ones that has the most pressures around development right now. So, you know, these are areas that, on one hand, that are not pristine necessarily, but almost the way it was a few centuries ago. And then an area that has been intensively settled by humans for a long time, and the pressures it's facing are almost unprecedented in their pace and their rate.